All right, it's week 28, the Stoli Doli, and technically, we've already made it. If you started infusing your pineapple vodka 2 weeks ago, today is the payoff. We're gonna take it, strain it, drink it, and talk about why it does what it does and what we can now do with it. But first, a bit of history. Whoosh. The Stoli Doli comes from the Capital Grille American steakhouse chain, which had a lot of popularity in the 90s for inventing this drink called the Stoli Doli. Stoli for Stolichnaya vodka and Doli for Dole pineapple. You don't need to use either. It's any pineapple, any vodka. Don't tell them I said so. You could always identify this drink when you went into their chains, as it sat right there on the bar, a bunch of jars that kind of looked like this with chunks of pineapple covered in vodka. This combination actually changes the vodka into what tastes like a refreshing sweet drink, but proceed with caution. Whoosh. But first, what's in the drink? Well, we have our base spirit, essentially vodka, our neutral spirit, as we learned in month number 2, I believe. And the reason why we use a neutral spirit is that the pineapple doesn't have to fight against any other flavors to infuse. The vodka actually takes on the pineapple characteristics and it becomes a pineapple nectar. The pineapple is actually softening the bite of the alcohol, and the alcohol is actually infusing the pineapple into a delicious alcoholic drink. And again, time is the key ingredient here. So let's go back in time, actually 1 week ago, and I'll explain how I made it. Whoosh. Well, as you can see, I started off with a pineapple and cut it up into chunks and put it in this nice little jar over here. And then I proceeded to empty out the content of a 1 liter vodka bottle, although you could also opt for a 750 ml. It's basically 1 pineapple to 1 bottle of vodka. Ideally, you want to make sure that the vodka covers the pineapple completely. At that point, you want to cap it. You want to put it in the fridge for at least a week. And I opted to give it a shake every few days, but I don't know if that's necessary. Okay, here I am taking it out of the fridge, and now here it is on the bar. I know that was very exciting, but what do we do with this now? Well, first of all, option A, nothing. Literally, you can scoop this out and drink it and it'll be delicious. Ideally, you want this going in the freezer. So after this video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna filter out this whole thing into a dedicated bottle without the pineapple, and then I'm gonna keep it in the freezer, and essentially you can serve that cold. You don't need to serve that on ice, you don't need to shake it, but it is nice to shake it generally when serving. A, because it looks cool and is a bit of theatrics. It makes it more fun, it makes it more important, especially pouring it into a martini glass. And B, the chillness factor does matter. So even coming out of the freezer, you can actually chill it even more by shaking it with ice in a shaker. If you don't have 2 weeks to infuse, or you're just watching this now and you're like, oh, I didn't watch last week's or 2 weeks ago when you told me specifically, hey, this is what you gotta do to get there on time. You could even infuse for a few days, but I recommend cutting the pineapple into smaller chunks. Even a few days infusion will make a big difference, but ideally you want a week to 2 weeks. Even a week is okay. Whoosh. Okay, let's build. We have a chilled martini glass here, which is a little bit less chilled because I keep blabbing. And we're gonna take 2 to 2.5 ounces of our infusion. Oh my God, okay. I'm gonna go with 2 ounces here because I have another video to record after this. We're gonna fill our shaker with ice. We're gonna shake this around 10 to 15 seconds. And what we're left with is a delicious, dangerous, very skinny martini. I'm gonna double strain now because there may be some pieces, although I didn't really see too many pieces come out. But once you filter this and keep it in the freezer, you shouldn't need to double strain. Being that our ingredients is essentially just 2 ounces in the shaker, we see the level is a little bit lower than most cocktails. And of course, garnish, actually, garnish with a pineapple wedge. And that, my friends, is the Stoli Doli. First, I taste the pineapple. That actually tastes like vodka. Okay, I don't know if that is foreshadowing. Let's have a taste. Okay, so not sharp, no bite, does not taste like alcohol, but it does not taste like pineapple juice. Definitely refreshing. I think I'm gonna leave this for another week. I did infuse for a week. I'm gonna give this another taste in a week and see if maybe it infuses even more. I expected a little bit more sweet. It is refreshing. It goes down very easy. It definitely does not taste like 2 ounces of vodka. It's extremely neutral. It tastes like a very light vodka that tastes like pineapple, but doesn't have any of the punch of alcohol. What I will say, being that I don't know what this will taste like in 2 weeks, regardless, this makes for a great base. Of course, we can drink it as is, and it is a really fun, refreshing summer drink, which is the point of this month. The only reason we have this on week 3 of the month instead of week 1 is because of the prep. But I do think this is an opportunity, which I'm gonna get to in a moment for variations, of building on top with using the pineapple vodka as your base. And if this is dangerous as is, using this as a base spirit probably makes whatever drink you're making even more dangerous because you legit will not taste any of the alcohol. Whoosh. Okay, adding to your shaker, a bit of sweetener, like agave like we did last week, and a bit of lime. That immediately gives it more sweetness first of all, but also more roundness that will give it more of a balance forward taste that again, will put the vodka even further back. You can also make a pineapple Collins, which we already have the 2 ounce spirit. Instead of gin, we're using this obviously. An ounce of lemon juice, half an ounce of simple syrup, and then top up with club soda and ice on a highball. I do think that would be very interesting, and I am actually going to try that in another week. So this is a really fun, very refreshing, very rewarding drink to have. And once you filter it and have it in the freezer, you essentially have a cocktail at the ready all summer long. Or at the very least, a very unique base spirit ready to build off of that when the guests arrive, or when your hunger arrives, I guess. So next week, we're gonna be getting into the wacky territory again, but for now, this is a good place to be. Thanks for being here, and until next week, happy mixing.